You can come off mute. There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. My name is Brittany. I am from the Twin Cities. I have a bachelor's in Spanish with like 36 elementary ed credits to my name.
Okay.
Um, I am a biracial ambiguous woman to the point where I would get the question, "What are you?" a lot, and then
Okay.
debated when I provide the answer, which was always frustrating because it's like, why can't you just respect the answer? Um, but yeah, that's kind of where my mind is with everything that I deal with. And looking at this, because it had been a minute since watching this music video, so I'm kind of glad that it's resurfaced for me. Um, and I kind of, with everything that's been going on within the last round of presidencies, um, it really took me to government, right? So in tune with um, the dancing being a distraction for the chaos in the background, it made me think of like all the petty things the government have been focusing on as a
Hmm.
way of distracting us and keeping us hyped on that versus what the actual crap they're actually doing behind the scenes that's really fucking everything up. Um, that's what really kind of was highlighting for me.
Hmm.
And then just how raw and uncut this music video is. It's very, it's in your face and you take it as it is. Like there is no sugarcoating, which I think is appreciative because I don't sugarcoat. So I like when things aren't sugarcoated for me. Um, and it's just that raw essence of this is what is being dealt with on a regular basis, and people are blind to it or act like they're blind to it, and then tagging into your speaking about cell phones. People want to act like when that first became a thing of people recording, people want to act like, oh, this is brand new information. Honey, no, it's not. All it is now is that it's being broadcasted and you can't escape it. You can't not see it now because it's being televised and going viral.
And so thank you for saying that, Brittany. I wanted to say two things. The first thing is about what JJ said about the students. He pointed out that the kids that were dancing with him were students. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Ron Clark Academy, but that's who I thought of
Yes.
when I
Oh,
saw them because it's a school created by a white man named Ron Clark. It's
mm-hmm.
specific for underprivileged kids, which ends up being black kids.
Yep.
But how they're always displayed is dancing. It's always dancing. It's never like we want to triathlon or
Right.
we Google Ron Clark Academy. I would search them on TikTok. You'll probably find the dances, but
Oh, I've
that's
seen it.
what. Yeah, that's what I'm. Oh, I'm talking to people in the chat. People are they're like,
Oh,
oh,
my
I don't.
bad. My bad.
I'm not familiar. Yeah, it is in Atlanta. Yeah. And so that's what I thought of is this performative version of like being a spectacle. Come look at me. And then you were talking about the video being raw and uncut or raw and uncut, and I absolutely agree with you that I think the because the words the lyrics are very basic. Like if you were just to listen to the song, it's not very much there. And
Right.
so it required that the music video be very potent because
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics weren't there. So he's requiring you to dismantle it, right? He's requiring you to unpack it because he's not serving it up on a platter for
Right.
you. He's like, you need to connect these dots, but also I'm going to color in all color so you can figure it out, but I'm not going to spell it out for you. So,
Right.
yeah, I think that's a really great point. Thank you so much. You're welcome to keep talking while I run to the restroom.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back, y'all.
Um, but yeah, that's just kind of how my take has been. And then in terms of just my journey in general, since I know we're gonna kind of go to new topics, I'm black and white, but I get a lot of people thinking I look Puerto Rican, Dominican Republic, Mexican, which is why I say I'm a biracial, ambiguous looking woman. Hence what are you being asked of me a lot. And then when I say I'm black, people want to argue with me or debate me saying, well, you can't just be that. You can't be black. But to me, it's what I identify as because that's that's all I've ever grown up with. My entire family is black, so I don't know anything else. And yes, I'll get off of mute. She said I could keep talking for a little bit, but yeah, I'll go ahead and mute.
Okay, good. Perfect timing. No worries. I wanted to say that I hear what you're saying. I People question my blackness all the time. Question away, baby. Both my parents black. I'm not gonna argue with nobody. Um, just really quickly, this is the other book I was talking about. Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. This is by a black woman. Okay, I'm ready to talk about Atlanta season 2, episode 6. Oh, I wrote it backwards. I wrote season 6, but it's season 2, episode 6. I have 4 people in the queue. Brittany, you're welcome to drop down. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you. That was wild.
Drop down.
Yeah, you can drop down off the. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it.
But how do I do it? Sorry.
I got you. I got you. No worries.
Thank
There you go. Okay. All right. That episode was wild. Okay. Yes. Okay. Not only was it Get Out, but the actor from Get Out was in it. Did y'all notice that? The main character, Darius, he is the guy who was in Get Out, and he's the first one who said "Get Out" when the camera flashed. Yeah, y'all didn't notice that? Okay, so here are my notes from the episode. Success looks different for everybody. The character who I think is supposed to be a version of Michael Jackson was talking about success, and I was like, he was like, pain, great things come from pain. And then Darius was like, yeah, but great things don't only come from pain. The fuck is you talking about? I wanted to know, did y'all think Benny was real? Did y'all think Benny was real until you met Benny? Did y'all notice that Stevie Wonder was very much a topic of the episode? Like, they brought him up a lot, and then at the very end, they play Stevie Wonder's song called Evil. And the first 2 lines of that song is, evil, why have you engulfed so many hearts? Why have you destroyed so many minds? Also, I want to know what you thought about the hat scene in the very beginning, where he takes the Make America Great Again hat, and he he reads out the letters, and it says "You mad," but it has a Confederate flag on it. And then also, I want to know, why didn't he leave? Why didn't he leave? Why? I'm gonna push this back. Why was the piano that important? Because it seems like he was going against all of his instincts for this piano. Okay, so I'm gonna start letting y'all in. Please mute up. Please mute up. Oh, wrong button. I wish these buttons were bigger. Please, it's all right. I'm gonna mute y'all. I know it can be challenging. It might be easier for me to do it. Okay, I only got 3 people who want to talk about this. Okay. Okay. Search the landfill. You can unmute. Is it Addiction? I can't see your name. Let me see. Addicted Bear Row. That's your name. You struggling? Okay, we're gonna jump to Bree. Bree, you're welcome to unmute. There
Hello?
you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. My name is Bria, and I am from New Jersey. My pronouns are she, her. My classification is, I would say, still a student. I don't know
Okay.
what year, but my major is, I have 2 majors. I have a major in architecture and major in pre-med and biology.
Okay. Oh.
I want to talk about, I guess, in the beginning when he put on that the red hat. And I feel as though like once we get into like closer into I guess the show, we find out that his father, you know, created this I guess separation from him and I guess who he wants to be. Because I guess when a black man sees his father, he either wants to become that black man or he wants to be as further away and different from that black stigma that his father has shown him. And I think the brother didn't help as well. I think the brother he had to wrap his you know the his money, his whole life around his brother, which he wanted to separate himself from. And I think that also gives me a correlation to like Michael Jackson, of how he wanted to change his whole ways based on how he was abused and how he was treated, and he wanted to change his whole face up just to be nothing like his father or look nothing like his father at all. And I think that is a really good part of the story, is that you are created of your parents, even though we try so hard not to become our parents, and some of us are better than our parents, but in reality we are a product of it, and we become this I guess is twisted anomaly, basically, of some people who can't run away from it, and we become this hatred part of our, I guess, our ancestors, and we look at like, oh, why did my father do this to me, or why did my mom do this to me, and I want nothing to do with it, but yet you still become that in a sense, and I think that we have to I guess seeing that whole thing as like it shows how much that we have to I guess be better than our counterparts, and that's also gives the fact that we have to be 10 times better, 1,000 times better than everybody else around us, and people can look at us one way but don't see what we have gone in the past.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So I want to acknowledge really quickly, everybody who didn't realize that Teddy was actually played by Donald Glover, in case you didn't know that. But yeah, I agree with you. I think there was a lot of commentary about the relationship that children have with their parents who are very strict on them. Obviously, they even mentioned Joe Jackson in the
Yes.
episode. Interestingly enough, and I agree with you 100% that what happens is when our parents parent us in a way that we don't like, we tend to fixate on that one thing about them, and so we hyper focus on it, and so that becomes the only thing we focus on, and then we tend to not realize what they did give us. And y'all know I love telling my mama business. So my mom's mother, she's still here, she's 92 years old, she is a mean and surly woman. I love her to death. That's my grandma. But she's mean and surly, right? She was never I personally think that's connected to trauma, right? I don't think my mother can see that, but I certainly can see. I know the signs because also same, right? But my grandmother was never affectionate and loving. If you don't tell her you love her, she's not going to say it to you, which made my mother hyper affectionate, hyper. We tell each other I love you 35 times on one phone call. We hug and kiss each other all goddamn day. If we in the space with each other, we laying up on each other. I love you. You're so beautiful. Da 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 da. Because my mom didn't want to be her mom, right? But there are things that she learned from her mother that she didn't teach us that she probably should have, because she was so focused on not being her mom that she didn't want to have nothing to do with who her mom showed up to be, right? And it creates this weird thing because now both me and my sister are like still disappointed in our mom for the things she didn't teach us, which is exactly where my mom is disappointed in her mother for the things she didn't share or teach her, right? And so it becomes this cycle that happens. So you're absolutely right. I 100% agree with you. Thank you for sharing. Somebody said I'm the same way with my son, and I didn't get that from my mother. Maybe you got it from your father, but absence of something is still a lesson, right? Absence of something is still a lesson. So I think we should consider that. There are things that my dad wasn't, he was in my life, but not the way my mom was. I absolutely learned things from him in his absence. in a way that I can't really put my finger on. I can't really explain it, right? Thank you so much, Bree. I'm gonna give Addicted Bear Row another chance to come off mute. I know you were having issues. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I see Nick. You're welcome to come off mute.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Again, I go by, I'm Nick. That is really my name,
They,
even
them.
outside of this app.
Yes, I
Yep, I
remember.
use they, them. I'm outside of Atlanta, in Georgia. Um, Classification, someplace between a bachelor's and a master's, put it that way.
Okay.
I have my bachelor's. I would love to go back to school, blah, blah, blah. I was here last night.
Yes, you were.
Yeah. And my major is self-improvement and unlearning many, many things that society and everything else has taught us all, unfortunately. What I took from it was, first off, I am glad I'm not the only one going, why is he still in this house? Why are you still in this house? That piano cannot be that important. It makes me want to watch more of the episodes to understand why this piano is so important, but I
Yeah.
digress. I also took from it that the Teddy and his brother Theodore, not Teddy, whatever. Is it
Yeah, it's
Theodore or
Teddy.
Teddy?
Teddy or Theodore. Yeah.
It's Teddy. Okay.
Mhm.
Teddy and his brother were great performers. People knew them. They had all this money, all this wealth, all this fame, and things went wrong. And where did everybody go? They just left them. It doesn't matter. You're just a prop. You're a prop for entertainment. They don't care about you at all. And it sucks. And it's very prominent at the same time. They lost their community. The isolation led to a lot of things that could have been prevented had they been able to have community around them, somebody checking in on them, etc.
Nick, I think you bring up a really great point where we can compare and contrast. This is America music video, because we were just talking about this idea of entertainment being like a spectacle and being a distraction. And so when it's all said and done, at the end of This Is America, Childish Gambino is running for his life by himself.
Yep.
Those kids that were dancing with him aren't with him. SZA, the girl who was sitting on the car, she's not running with him. The guy who was playing the guitar, he got pew-pewed. The choir is not with him because they got pew-pewed. So at the end, he's all alone. And I think that's a really great bridge between the two pieces of work by the same artist, to point out that the isolation is maddening. The isolation is maddening. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
hadn't put that together. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate you. You have a good night. I'm going to disconnect
You
you,
too.
and then no worries. I'm going to see if I can unmute Addicted Bear. Oh, it worked. Okay, wait. It's just taking a second. You're gonna It just came off and then I pressed it by mistake. Oh, okay. I have to wait 43 seconds. Addicted Bear. Give me 43 seconds. I have some other people in the queue. So let me add 2 more people and then I'll come back to you. Okay, added 2 more people before we get started again. I just want to go over these notes. Did y'all realize how empathetic Darius was? So at no point did he make Teddy feel othered, right? Like immediately Darius was like, "You're not mad at your dad? Are you okay? You don't have to go through this." Even when he met Benny, who he really thought was Teddy, he was kind to him and was like, oh, you want me to go get the gun? Like, at no point was he like, fuck y'all crazy, this some bullshit. Even if he felt that way, he showed empathy to them at all times. And I thought that was a beautiful thing. Okay, I'm gonna try. Oh, okay, okay, there you go. Addicted Bear.
Hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, I'm Rochelle. I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. I'm she, her, and I'm gonna say I'm a junior. That's the beginning of college, right?
No, freshman is the beginning.
Okay, I'm freshman
Okay.
for this course, and I'm freshman of the, how did she put it?
What's your major?
Yeah, the learning to not center myself. Can I put it as that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you're on that journey.
Can I tie them together, the video, the music video, and
Absolutely.
Atlanta?
Yes, you can. Hi, Tom.
Because I saw, like, how in the music video, the open space, and it may be because I don't have the same options as education, but I saw the open space as kind of like the boat that you were forced to come over the ocean in, and how you had to fight for your life to survive, even on the boat, to make it across the ocean. And then I saw in like the Atlanta, he's taking this vehicle and he's heading into the unknown. And in a way, like, this is gonna sound dorky, but kind of like to get the piano, he's forced to do stuff he wouldn't do by staying in the house. And also, and he offers empathy in a place of, he comes in to do something and he is forced to play the empathetic role and to keep himself alive. And I kind of contrasted it to both, because in the roles, I see it as you're constantly forced to be empathetic to the white person who's taking up space in your space and forcing you to do stuff, doing the hard labor of, I'm going to sit like in that chair and watch as you perform to me, and yet I'm not going to ever step in front of the white mob to protect you. And I kind of came like I started this journey like 2020, and I see it as it's coming back to the 2025, and how what stuff is happening in the US, and how now the white mob is pulling the same attitude as, I'm not going to protect you. I'm going to throw you to the wolves to protect myself. And like being up in Canada, I refer it to Drake, and how like in Canada he was he was forced to perform, and his big chance was to go to America, and that's when he made it big. Canada didn't make him big. The U.S. made him big, and the U.S. gave him props when he was in a Degrassi school up here. And to me, he wasn't recognized for his talents then. We just, and this is, if I say this offensively, but we made him dance for us and be performative for us, but we made him do the labor that we were not willing to do. Does that make sense? Coming like that, like,
yeah, Rochelle,
that's why people were making you do the labor that
ate down. I think you just ate down. You should be full because you ate that. Yeah, you just connected some dots for me that I didn't see. The chat is agreeing with you. The whole idea of, as you were talking, I could visualize the fight he had getting the piano in the elevator. Like how frustrating that seemed to him to try to get it in by himself, when at that point it still wasn't his piano. So why is he moving it, right? I could see out the door, but forcing him to move the piano into the elevator to begin with, and then all the effort that he had put in, all this time he had spent. And then also another thing that dawned on me as you're talking is, at what cost, right? Like, Black people have been tap dancing for so long, and what cost does it come at? The empathy that we, like, the indigenous people accepted some of the colonizers, and what did it cost them? It cost them everything. Black people have, to Aiden's point, accepted Black people in their space, accepted white people in their spaces, and it costs us our freedom. It costs us free labor. It costs us so much, and maybe it costs us too much. I'm I'm a little
Can I
floored.
add in
Hold on one
one
second.
more?
Amber said you are definitely at least a sophomore. I think you're like in your last semester of being a sophomore. You're definitely, I'm crossing freshman out, just so you know, okay? Sophomore is your second year, because you ate that down. But yeah, go ahead. We listen intently.
Okay. Okay, and also with the piano and the reference towards Michael Jackson, the young people that Michael Jackson had to teach and train and sacrifice his own personal everything. And then when it came down to it, when the popo showed up, I don't know a better word for it up here, but to me, it was like when those kids were forced to lie about him, and it took the last of his self-peace, and he started to show the break of, like, I can no longer do the labor and do the emotional, and they broke him. Like, it was the last straw of the community, instead of being there for him, taking that last brick.
Yes. I, you have just illuminated so much for me, because somebody in the comments said then he had to go to the basement. He was supposed to go to the first floor. Then he ended up at the basement, and we keep going backwards, and we need to go forward. Um, I'm in awe right now of all of these themes and ideas that weren't, I hadn't digested yet. This idea of all this work that he was doing, and then at the end of it, he has to leave with the car he came with, the U-Haul that he came with, and leave the piano because now it's evidence. And so he went through all of that for no reason. And he spent all his time and effort centering the white guy's concerns. Like, the whole time his spidey senses were going off. He even talked to his mans on the phone and was like, this, I don't know, Benny ain't even real. This feels wild to me. I don't know if I need to be here, but I really want this piano. He was cognitively aware that it was suspect the whole time, and still the white guy found a way to center himself so much, and his relationship with his white guy, who the guy who presents as white, centers him. He's Darius is required to center him in order to get this quid pro quo. And I feel like that happens to us as Black people so often. Of It's bringing to, okay, y'all bear with me, okay, because we in Dr. Barlow's class. What I'm hearing is the conversation we had yesterday about W.E.B. Du Bois's "I Won't Vote." He's talking about this idea of, like, we're not getting anywhere, we're not getting anything from the exercise of voting, and I'm frustrated because there aren't two parties. There's one, and they're both evil, and we're not getting anything out of it because we keep being given promises and told well, just hold on, just do this and you'll get that. Just do this and you'll get that. And it never comes to fruition. It never happens. They passed the no Asian hate bill. Meanwhile, it's still legal to have black people hanging from trees. Okay? Strange fruit. So I just was able to put, because remember, all of this work was required of us from Dr. Barlow for this past week. So we were supposed to be thinking about all of these things in conjunction with each other and how they play into one another. And so for me, absolutely, Rochelle, you have illuminated some things for me as to how they all relate to one another. Whew. Okay. I have a lot of content to make. Thank you so much, Rochelle. I'm just looking through the comments. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we got that mute button fixed because, baby, I'm so glad we didn't miss this.
Thank you
Oh,
for having me up here and letting
absolutely.
me.
Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Canada. Thank you so much, Rochelle. You're welcome to drop down. Before I go to the last two, now keep in mind will be the last two because this ends at 11. I want to give some reminders before I do that. Or some information. A lot of people were asking about these books and how do you get them. Okay, these books: Hood Feminism, White Fragility, White Tears, Brown Scars, and The Message. If you are not a member of your local library, join today. You can join on the internet. You don't have to show up there. You get a digital library card, okay? Once you get that digital library card, you will have access to not just the books inside the library, but you will have access to apps. Apps like Libby, Hoopla, Mango Languages, which is like Duo Languages, LinkedIn Professional, or it may be something else, but LinkedIn Learning. All these apps are free once you have a library card, okay? I listen to most of my books because I don't have time to sit down and read. So I'm doing laundry, I'm cooking dinner, I'm running errands, and I'm listening to a book. I can get through one book in 2 days, depending on how long it is, because I can listen to it that fast, right? I listen to it twice as fast, and I knock it out. So I buy books so that I can annotate and write notes and get quotes and things like that. If the library doesn't work for you and you just want to have a book that you own, I purchase my books from thriftbooks.com. There's an app and it's a website. The last time I checked, White Fragility was on there for like $5.50. Okay. Most of the books I get are below $10. Some of them aren't, but most of them, it just depends on the condition of the book. If it's brand new, if it has like dog-eared pages or, whatever, good, used, new, good enough, like whatever it is, that will determine the price. Audible is a last resort, child. I'm not a fan of Audible. I have Audible because people they know I like books, and so they gift me Audibles, like memberships or whatever. That's the last resort to me. So those are some ways you can either get the book for free or for really cheap. Also, your local library probably has Atlanta as a disc set that you can borrow. Okay. Also, your library probably has free passes to a bunch of shit you didn't know they had. Like in Atlanta right now, I can go to the zoo for free from my library. Go to your library. If I live in Fulton County, I can go to my library, ask them for a zoo pass. They give me the pass. I go to the zoo. I bring it back. And if I don't bring it back, they're going to charge me like $60, right? Also, Shakespeare Tavern, the Puppetry Center of Puppetry Arts, all types of shit you can do for free from your library. I bet you didn't know that, okay? All types of stuff you didn't know. It is not 1990 anymore. It's 2025, and the library has upped their game, all right? So I want to encourage you to go get these books from the library. Yeah, and let me tell you how I found out. I was going to vote, and to vote, it was in a library, and I was like, I haven't had a library card since I lived in New York City. Let me go get a library card. I got the library card, and the lady gave me a pamphlet that basically told me everything that was free. And I was like, oh, I'm sold. Baby, y'all see me. I go to my library. I be in there for line dancing with 60-year-old women. I joined the book club. They be sick of me. I buy books out their little bookstore that be like $3. They be like, hey, Brandy, you would think I work there. Okay. I love my library. Really quick. Well, I'll make announcements after these last two people speak. I got Lala on the line. I feel like a Hot 97 host. Shout out to New York. Lala, you're welcome to get off mute. Lala. La la la. Okay, Lala. Okay. Audrey. Y'all on the panel. Y'all don't want to unmute.
Hello.
There we go. Hey, Audrey.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, my name's Audrey Davison, and oh gosh, I'm she, her, and I'm postgraduate. I've got my master's in psychology, counseling, and guidance, and I'm probably the auntie of the group because I'm going to be 73 next month.
Okay.
And yeah, and it's this, I've lived through a lot of this stuff and just seeing everything coming full circle. It's like if you, like they always say, if you don't learn, history will repeat itself. And that's what I'm seeing, with what's going on with, we're being drugged back to even before the 50s. And it's really scary to me right now just to see that, I know I got more life behind me than in front of me. So, I want to make sure that, the young people that are behind me, that they're educated, that they know what's going on and that they know what has happened in the past because they're trying to even erase the history. So a lot of like, and that's, let me get on topic though, because I know we got limited time. So as far as this, Teddy Perkins,
Uh-huh.
this was so weird. I got the Michael Jackson reference right away when I saw him with the unnatural white skin,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the pictures in the home is black people, the videos, everything's black people. So it was almost like the abuse that he had received, that there was a self-hatred there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was trying not to be what his dad was. And then did you notice how when Darius being so empathetic to him and said, "Oh, like I understand how you feel," and he got really irate. No, you don't, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that really got me. And another thing that really got me was, why is he still there? And he was talking to his friends, and I think there was even one text he got like, "Are you still alive?" Because I think his friends were concerned because they knew he was. This is crazy. Is this a piano that important? And he ends up, like you said, at what cost? He ends up leaving without the piano. I was fearful for him because, for one thing, I thought, oh, they're going to kill him, and he's like an ongoing character in the
Let's make
Atlanta
sure we
series.
say. Let's make sure we say unalive.
Okay, unalive. Okay,
No worries.
yeah, and so he's an ongoing character in the series. So I was afraid for his life, and even to the point when the other two, when there was kind of like the unaliving of the brothers, the next scene I was concerned, are they going to arrest him even though he's in handcuffs? Because things always get twisted and fall back that, oh, the black man's always the guilty one. And the fact that he was able to leave that situation and not be arrested was a relief to me, although he never got that piano that he wanted so bad. So all of that he went through and stayed in there, and he still didn't get what he wanted. And I just want to relate some of this to the video, the Childish Gambino video too. It's just kind of us as black people, we dance, we sing, it's like the whole, one of the lyrics in there was, black man get your money, black man get your money, black man get your money. And it's like, so we perform, but all of this, nothing changes, and we're still kept in the same spot. We still are not given the respect. And in the end of the video, he's running for his life from the police. And I know you made the reference to also of the police, of the origins of the police. There's actually a symbolism in that video of the police car and a hooded white man on a white horse. And I think that's a whole reference to, the Klan and the police being connected to the Klan. And, just all this interconnection. And then, getting back into the Teddy Perkins, the self-hatred, where sometimes as Black people, if you're trying to assimilate and entertain to the point where you lose yourself. And I just saw that Teddy had pretty much lost himself. Although the part that got me was he seemed to enjoy watching the videos of his dad abusing him. And that was really telling to me that this trauma, he couldn't break free from it. So, I kind of spilled out a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm going to let it go. I know we're limited time, so just wanted to get that in.
Thank you so much, Audrey, for sharing. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna disconnect you, but I do have some responses to something you said. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Before I try again with Lala, so you said some things that were really helpful to me, and I want to walk through also some other things that I was thinking about as you were talking. Did I just put a pen mark on my board? No, that's not okay. I think it's important that we heal our parental wounds because I think a lot of trauma, a lot of the trauma that Black people experience is connected to the coping mechanisms that our parents had to survive, right? This brings to memory the open letter that what's her name, Lauryn Hill's daughter wrote, and basically was saying that she felt like her mom abused her. And when Lauryn Hill responded, Lauryn was like, I was trying to keep my daughter safe. And I think both things can be true, right? That our parents have experienced so much trauma. Nobody loved them the way they deserved to be loved. Nobody was affectionate to them the way they deserved affection. And so they didn't raise us as much as they had kids, if that makes sense. Like, they had kids and they kept us alive. But I don't know that my parents ever sat down and thought to themselves, what do I want to teach my kids? What lessons do I want them? And I've said that out loud to them and they've not corrected me. Okay. I don't think our parents, I'm 42. I don't think our parents was like, oh, I want to be this type of person. And I want to teach these characteristics to my children. I don't think they did that. I think they just fucked around and had kids. And so the trauma that we've experienced from that, we have got to heal from, and we can't keep looking at our parents. I saw somebody do a video say we can't keep looking at the people who created the dysfunction to okay us getting out of the dysfunction. Like you're gonna have to do it without grandma say so. You're gonna have to do it without mama say so, right? So that was important to me. The self-hatred was very real. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there was a part where they were in the room and they were looking, Teddy was watching the video of him playing the piano and his father abusing him. There's this part where it's a split screen where Teddy's face as it is now is here on the left and his face is what it used to be on the film is on the right. And you can see the stark difference in who he has become. And it's very startling when you look at that scene. You're like, oh my goodness, like the self-hate is so deep that he had to become somebody completely different than who he was in that space. But there's a cognitive dissonance that happens because to the point that you were making, Audrey, about him getting frustrated with Darius when he was like, I understand. No, you don't. It's because as Black people, we have not reconciled this idea that our parents loved us, but they didn't do right by us. We have not reconciled that. We have not reconciled that. Our parents loved us and they mistreated us. Our parents loved us and they let that man touch us. Our parents loved us, but they didn't let us go to college. Our parents loved us, but they used to beat us. Our parents loved us, but they treat all my siblings differently and I don't feel loved the way my little sister or my little brother is loved. We have not reconciled how those two things exist. And I want to give you something to help with that. As a people, as society, we have to learn to accept that people are multifaceted. We are far too polarized in our lives. We want everything to be good or bad, up or down, left or right, you know, pink or green. it, we want to put things in a box, and that's just not reality. And I think that is really the core to a lot of our trauma. Is so much of us. Hey, Brandy, I love the way you spell your name. So many of us want life to be easy and on simple terms, and so if we can put things in boxes, then okay, this is one, and this is two. But the reality is it's not one, it's 1.73892, right? And this is 3.798 to the 10th power. And what the fuck is that number? I don't know. It's just not. We have to reconcile this idea that things are not polarized. They're people are human, and they're multifaceted, and they do. I wouldn't argue that people do the best they can, but I think people do what they know how to do. I think our parents do what they know how to do. Okay, some more points. When you were talking, Audrey, you said you were talking about the black man get your money, and it made me think of this line from Jay-Z. I think it's on his 444 album. You know the saying that says "fuck you, pay me," right? That has been a line in rap songs as long as rap has been around, which is 50 years, 51 years this year. But Jay-Z says he changes the paradigm of that statement and says, fuck paying me, I pay you. And I think that's such an important thought process, because for years, our thought process has been, I don't care what you're talking about. Did you pay me? Where my check at? Where's my money? And Jay-Z is making the point to say, I don't need to be the one who get paid. I need to be the one who's paying, because if I'm the one who's paying, that puts me on a different playing field. I'm not the employee. I'm the owner, right? And it's a different mental place to be in. And I think he said in that album, I'm trying to give you game for $9.99, right? Like, he has a lot of great one-liners in that album. You should go check it out. But I think, to your point, that is where Black people need to get to if we're going to continue to live in this capitalistic society, which is, we don't really have control over that. It's to move from this place of like, fuck you, pay me, and then trying to build generational wealth, which is what he was talking about in that particular song. It's a completely different mindset. All right, that's all I got for that. I'm going to let this last person talk. Let me see if I can unmute you, Lala. Okay, there you go.
Hi.
Yay. Hey,
Hi.
Lala.
Thank you. Sorry. First of all, I just apologies ahead of time. I am neurodivergent and I get a little bit nervous, so if I stumble over my words, apologies.
No worries.
My name is Kayla. I am from Seattle, Los Angeles originally. I go by she, her, and I have a degree in political science and interpersonal communications, but my focus was human rights. Mainly human trafficking and like major abuses like that, slavery. The one thing that when you were talking about all of this empathy that Damien had, and that's what kept him, it also made me think of how we as women, but especially people of color, especially in spaces where the person is white, we do things to protect ourselves. So we are overly empathetic, and we do stay in situations that are not safe because we want to be polite. We've been told that we need to be performative and we need to make everybody feel comfortable. And I'm saying we, but I know that there are so many other levels to that for people of color, Black people, Black women. But it just it made me, that when I saw him going into the room where he closed both of the double doors, I was like, I could see myself, not that I don't want to be that person. And I know that I'm older now and I have a little bit more wherewithal in that, but I can see a younger version of myself being willing to walk into that room and being willing, because I didn't want to be rude and so I can also see how he sees this person who was a victim of racism and white supremacy and of his father and of his time, and how this person wanted proximity to whiteness because it was going to make him, whatever the thought process was, safer, more successful, whatever. And he had that empathy, but also there is a level of like, you are only as safe as your exit. Like that is, I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm writing it down. You are
Well,
only as safe as your exit.
and I also like the proximity to whiteness. Is that automatically poison? Like, is Teddy Perkins? I think that was his name.
Hmm.
Is he now so far gone? And it also, he looked at Damien like Damien was on display for him, and that is also something that's goes along with the performative piece, right? That the other person was talking about. Um, the like he wanted someone like Damien to come to his house. So he could like victimize him and make him the sacrifice or whatever the word he used was. But it's like, is it automatically poisonous to be this far gone from your actual community, um, your actual identity, to have been abused to the point that he had been, to like, is it, I don't know. Like, is he so close to, like, he's never going to be there, right? If there's nothing that anyone can do or anyone should have to do, but that's the insidiousness of white supremacy. Like, you'll never, if you are not 100% like viewable as a white person, and you have like white culture, whatever that means, and all of those things, like, you'll never be that. So it doesn't matter what Teddy did, but is that proximity that he tried to get poisoned to the point where he is no longer safe for his own community? Yeah,
Absolutely, because Candace Owens is not safe to me.
no.
Absolutely. Yeah, that you make some really great points. And also I want to say this. Black people thrive on community. We are forced to have community, but we thrive on it, right? And I think juxtapose that to white women in particular, I'm hearing often in my book club, white women don't have community. And so I think that is a really good indicator to me as to why they struggle so much with empathy, because they don't have the same community that we do. Like, um, a black woman got on this app and was talking to 35 people, 35 people. And millions of people were like, oh, I'm in class today. And the majority of them were black women, because black women gather where we see black women. And you know why? Because we see safety in each other. We see community in each other. We see bonding and love. And you have the same problems as me. You got to wear a bonnet tonight, and you might get your nails done and your lashes done. And what we have shared experiences, right? And we find safety in that. And I don't think white women experience that in the same way, because I think white women find safety in their whiteness and not necessarily their womanness, right? Not in their femininity. And so that is why you see so many white women crashing out on the app. Like, there was this white woman who crashed out and was like, "Oh, I can't believe that it was never about the eggs. You got to be fucking kidding me. You got to be." She was like, "I'm so tired, bitch. You just clocked in.
Yeah, it's
You
that.
just
Yeah,
clocked in.
agreed. The
You know?"
isolation is yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Kayla.
Thank you. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you for sharing, Kayla. I'm gonna disconnect you.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna make some announcements. Thank you for sharing. I didn't hear anybody talk about this, but y'all wasn't scared of the water. Nobody else was scared of the water. He asked that man. He said, "What kind of water you want? Tap water? You want bottled water?" He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna give you bottled water, and I'm gonna put it with Evian, Voss, and some more shit." And gave him a glass of water. The whole time I was like screaming at the screen, "Don't drink the water!" I just knew he was gonna pass the fuck out. I just knew he was about to pass out. The egg was creepy as shit, Brandy. Yes, it was. And you know what? That said to me, I'm surprised nobody brought that up. That said to me, like, I have definitely been at restaurants that I didn't have no business being in, and I walked out paying $600 for my meal, and I got this much food, and I didn't like it, and I was pissed off. It gave very much like, you don't even like this shit. You just eating it because you think this is what rich people do. It was so, I was like, oh. Mm, mm. And just so you know, you can change the how fast you watch things on Hulu. Okay, I sped through that. Yeah, take me to McDonald's. That it was given. It wasn't even given Sunny Side Up. It was given. Don't eat that, baby. Don't do that. It was given Josh's mom. It was given Josh's mom. I love being on TikTok because I love that I can make references and y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. Right? I talk to my husband and I'll be like, I'll say some crazy shit to him and he'll be like, I don't get it. What do you mean? What do you mean? I might walk into a place and go, this is nice. He don't know what I'm talking about. Boo. Josh's mom. Absolutely. All right. Some announcements before we go. I'll be trying to do 11 o'clock and y'all always take me to 11:30. All right. Oh, this is too high. Our next live, let me make it smaller. Our next live will be tomorrow at 9 p.m. We will be discussing the documentary 13th. You can find it on Netflix. If you don't have it on Netflix, you can watch it for free on YouTube. Please come ready to discuss. I have not rewatched it yet, so I don't have my questions ready. But we are having a quiz with Dr. Barlow next week on the documentary. If she don't post no content about a quiz by Wednesday, I'm probably gonna make a quiz and we can take it together, okay? Because it's all in fun, but we serious, unserious, right? Day and I have a book club, White Women. If you are interested in doing anti-racism work, there's a fee. It's $22 a month. You can come in and leave. You can leave and come back if you want to. We do offer scholarships sometimes. So if you're interested and you don't have the funds, go to the link in my bio, click the second button that says email, and you can tell us why you want to join the book club. And we will do our best to connect you to a sponsor so that you can be a part. If you are interested in sponsoring somebody, click that same link, that same email, and let us know. We're happy to take your sponsorship so that somebody can do this anti-racism work. We are working on some things for Black women, but we don't want to charge the same price point. So bear with us because Black women deserve. All right. The book club is called Anti-Racism Book Club for White Women. We support 2 different meetings, but we have one meeting a month, but we have so many members that we split the members and we have 2 meetings. So if you can't make one on Sunday, you can make the meeting on Wednesday. The meeting is for 2 hours, right? So you can conceive how much effort this is taking of me to do. By Sunday, I would have done 3 different lives for 2 hours at a time. Plus, I just did 2 different 2-hour book clubs. Okay, sis is tired. Sis is tired. Okay. I'm glad my husband's not. He's traveling because if I had to give him attention too, y'all might not have seen me today. The book that we read for January is White Fragility. That's this book right here by Robin DiAngelo. If you can't, for whatever reason, be a part of book club, but you're interested in the book, go get the book. Thriftbooks.com or your local library. The book for this month is Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. Here we go. This is by a Black woman, and it's about, why? There we go. It's about how white women don't show up for Black women, okay? We will be discussing those books. I don't remember the date, to be honest with you. Just join the book club and then you can find out. We also support a Facebook group that communicates and creates community for white women. We don't run it as much as we peek our heads in, right? Provide questions. The intention is for white women to create their own community because you don't really have it, right? For like-minded women. So that's my spiel. Book club. You can click the link in my bio. The first button will give you the link to join the book club. It's $22 a month. We're doing live again tomorrow at 9, discussing 13th. And Dr. Barlow did do a video today, and she gave us a syllabus of things that she's comfortable with sharing to us. And so I will continue this work on to next week. I also wanted to challenge y'all. I'll make a video about this, but I wanted to challenge y'all to listen to Whitey on the Moon by Gil Scott-Heron. Whitey on the Moon. I think I may start adding some things to the syllabus that I think are important. I think shows like Lovecraft Country are valid. It's a little bit violent, but it's a really good show. Excuse me, but Whitey on the Moon is featured in that television show if you haven't seen it. All right. Thank you so much for your attentiveness. Thank you for coming with your thoughts. Again, I will be working tomorrow on uploading both lives to YouTube. You can follow me Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube. If you would like to compensate me for the efforts and work that I have done in research, you can Cash at me or Venmo. All of these are with this handle. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night. And I'm about to finish this whole bottle of wine.